Hey everybody, RPW here. We have a special guest known as The Grind. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, happy to be here. I'm, as you said, The Grind. My in-game name is Shivenzo.
So why the name Shivenzo?
That's a good question. I've been waiting for the day that somebody asked that question, and it's kind of a silly answer. I am terrible at making names for games, and I end up thinking about it for far too long, and then I just get sick of it and end up giving up or doing something silly. So the only thing I could think of when I started this game, now I started this game thinking I was just going to try it for a day or so and give up and not really care about it. But I actually ended up really liking it, obviously. So when I first started, I didn't think too much about my name. And my cats' names are Shiva and Enzo.
Aww.
So I put them together, and there's my name, Shivenzo.
That's funny. I got made fun of for my name when I first started. They're like, "Oh, that's clever," or role-playing wife. And I was like, I didn't think I was going to play this stupid game. I thought it was going to be stupid. And then I ended up thinking, oh, wow, I love this game. So,
yeah.
So I get it. I get it 100%. That's really cool. So you have kitty cats then, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're Bengal cats.
Do they get in your way when you try to game?
They do, actually, yes. Very often.
That's hilarious. So you do videos on YouTube. You started, I know it was sometime about 2 months before I quit, you reached out to me.
Yeah.
So, not quit, but it really took basically a break since I'm back so soon. But,
yeah.
So why don't you let everybody know about your channel?
Yeah, so I started a YouTube channel 2.5 seasons ago, perhaps, I think now. The end of the season that had Ronan in it. And I have always kind of contemplated starting a YouTube channel in the past for different games I've played, but never really thought I'd end up doing it. But I was making progress in this game, and at first I found it really challenging to find information on how to play the game as best as possible. And a lot of people have over-leveled their base and ran into issues, and I like to plan ahead. And I had troubles finding information initially. I didn't know about the forums, and then it took me a while to find your channel and Odin's channel. And I found that those channels actually really helped me to get on track to play smart. Right. And there's a lot of talk about how it's very challenging to be a free-to-play player and to not have elites and to not spend money, and that it's impossible to get a mythic. And at the lower levels, of course it is. And now that I've been playing more, I have met a lot of people who actually have done it free-to-play. But when I was reaching the point that I saw that I would be able to do it, I wanted to make a video to explain how to do it for a free-to-play player. And that's really what started my channel, was that video that I was making. And I didn't think it would become a huge thing, but I got some good feedback. I got a lot of support, like you, for example, helping me start my channel. You were probably more excited about it than I was. And it just kind of became more of a thing. People enjoyed the videos, and I had fun doing it. So now we're here.
I don't know. I love that our community is growing, especially on the YouTube side. So of course I was excited. Now, as for the season, I haven't really gotten much to share with the community because, I've not been around. So I was wanting to see if you wanted to give me your thoughts and let my viewers see what it is that you think about this Wither Moon season.
Yeah, of course. First of all, I really like the design of all the Wither Moon dragons. I forget, it might have been you that commented on Hyaku being a little cartoony?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Unfortunately, he seems kind of out of place. But the rest of the dragons are I really like the kind of Halloween, dark, mysterious, creepy kind of look they have in them.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of fun for me to see them and work on Khaleesi especially. Khaleesi is my favorite dragon so far of this season. it was unfortunate that he was released with a broken spell, so to speak, that they had to change him up a bit later after release. And as soon as I heard the spell release, I was kind of skeptical because, as we saw, it was a very broken ability. And I expected them to change it as soon as I was using like a platinum dragon to destroy bases with level 55 plus towers.
Oh, wow.
And so I started saving clips to make like a video after they had nerfed him, kind of making fun of how he obviously needed to be nerfed, or fixed, as some people say.
Right.
But I feel like Callistic still is a very strong dragon. I think a lot of people agree as well. It was a bit of a hard pill to swallow because I know there's been a lot of talk about changing dragons after release. They said they wouldn't do it, but Callistic's still a very strong dragon. It's just a lot more challenging now to use him. But I think it makes the game a little bit more fair for everybody.
True. And that's what they try to do. They try to keep a balance. So, it makes perfect sense. So the person that was using the dragon and killing big bases, of course, is going to be like, why would you change the dragon? But, during that war, you're going to hope that somebody doesn't have that dragon, So I get
exactly.
it. Not to mention all the glory that would be grabbed up from that over in Atlas. So
yeah,
interesting. I missed out on all that happening. Unfortunately, that would have been fun to see, but it is what it is. Now I was really looking at changing up my dragon and choosing one of the others, but at the same time I'm just like, I really worry about this season just getting as many tokens and stuff as I can to make up for my loss. So I don't even really care about the dragons till next season, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's hard to tell. Now, what about the changes? There's been a lot of little changes, I know, in the game, like little repairs or whatever you want to call it. But there's also been a lot of glitchy things, of course. I know since I've left and come back. Like, for example, did you get one of the elite, or no, what is it called? Not the mythic rune, but the
exotic rune.
The exotic rune, that's right. Man, my brain just completely plummeted there. But did you happen to get any of those, one of those exotic runes, or?
Yeah, actually, I got both of them, the dark flak one and the fire flak one.
And did you see it made a difference, or?
I personally did see an increase in my defense after applying those runes.
Nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you say that you've noticed that people are over-leveling their bases and so forth. I've noticed there's been a lot of changes on bases, and I'm not for sure what it is, but there's been some good changes where players have utilized different strategies, and it's caused me to change up my base a tiny bit. But I've also seen where some people are going back to some older ways, and I'm like, what are they doing? So I don't know. We definitely need to get some base building videos out there, I think.
Yeah, and it's I have heard of some higher level players with like max towers that are starting to build like an archer tower or a cannon tower, with the thought being that so many dragons have elemental resist. So
yes,
even though flaks do a lot more damage than an archer tower, with the elemental resist, it ends up being much less. And so I have heard of that happening. I haven't seen too much of it.
I haven't either.
Yeah, but at lower levels, I guess there's still those same dragons with the elemental resists. I haven't really flown against too many bases that had those older towers that I felt were strong bases.
Same.
That's just my experience so far.
Yeah, for me, except for in Atlas, and I think that's what causes the confusion. When you go over and you hit those invaders, people think, wow, these are some strong things because I'm going down, but there's so many of them at that equal level that it's not quite the same thing if you put it on your own base, unfortunately.
Right.
I think another tower that is kind of a disappointment is the ice turret, personally. I don't know. I know it's supposed to help with your defense, but it's just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's odd because some bases with an ice turret, it won't seem to make a difference. But then another base, you're not expecting it, and suddenly it takes you from half to dead in a couple seconds because you weren't prioritizing that tower.
Right, and they probably have some amazing, runes on that baby too. So
Yeah, and kept it up to max level. I think, like for me especially, and a lot of bases I've seen don't have their turrets at max for the level because it's kind of hard to get those resources, and so that's probably why it always feels so much weaker, is because it's not actually maxed for the level.
That's true. That is true. I have a nice turret on mine though.
Nice. On I have one at the back, like behind my farms, but it's not leveled up enough to be effective.
I have mine on the very front, which, I mean, anybody that knows my base knows that the kill island is actually a farce. It's actually a rage draining island. A lot of people think it's a kill island, and it's funny because they'll get through it barely and they're like, yes! Then they get around to the other end and it's got all this flak, so they're like, oh, flak.
Yes. I've actually fallen for that a couple times on bases. I have seen that. I won't be paying attention because I'm just kind of doing whatever, farming, just doing quick runs, and I'll use all my spells on the island 3, the typical kill island, and think, oh wow, that went down easy, and then I have half my rage gone and I come up to the next island and have to come out with a second dragon because that was their kill island.
Right, exactly. That's always fun. I like that. The farce island.
Yeah.
All right, so what about the dragons themselves? What is your favorite, and not necessarily for the season, but your favorite dragon that you've had thus far?
Oh, my favorite dragon thus far. I actually really enjoy flying Scorpa.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Good dragon.
Sorry?
That's a good dragon.
Yeah, and I was excited all of last season. I was waiting so long before I could finally get him because I saw all this talk about him being a terrible dragon, and I had these thoughts about how to fly him better, and I couldn't try them because I didn't have him yet. And when I finally got him and put in the time to practice, I was pleasantly surprised with how well he performed. And so I actually fly him more often than any other dragon. I'm flying Khalisid more because I need to practice with him, of course. But when I am in a pinch and I need a reliable attack, Scorp is actually my go-to dragon.
I know I got that dragon, but I don't think I took him that far. But I know that when I used him, either that or maybe it's on my alt, I can't remember. Like, the more I've used it, I'm like, wow, that's actually a pretty decent dragon. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good dragon. And I wasn't expecting that answer, so that was a pretty cool answer to get.
Cool.
Now, what about the events? What is, like, right now we have the Team Gauntlet coming in, which probably by the time I post this video will actually be in the middle of it, but what is your favorite event?
My favorite event? That's hard. I actually enjoy PvPs to some degree. The longer that I play, the more it gets a little bit exhausting. But I actually like the pit events, and most people don't like it.
I love the pit, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because it's like a little mini PvP every 6 hours.
Exactly. And you can take time off and set your alarm, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's not like a constant grind like Kingdom Wars. Mm-hmm. And that one just exhausts me. I just don't really enjoy that one as much. But yeah, it's like, and the pits, I feel like there's more strategy because you have the start of the round and the end of the round, and then depending on what your pit you're in, you're going to make a different choice depending what teams are in the same pit as you. So I actually get a lot of enjoyment from that PvP. But I think the most enjoyment I get is fortification event because I really like building my base and unlocking higher levels for my dragons. So I probably get the most excitement from looking forward to each fortification.
I can 100% agree with that one. I think like with the Team Gauntlet, like it's a great event, but they need to think about how big the players are getting. They've left that at such a low tier, but players are just continuing to grow and grow. So I kind of wish they would adjust the islands, per league maybe. If you're in Platinum League, then maybe that starts out at this level versus this tiny little island level.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's kind of monotonous and boring to do the PvE islands when they're not challenging, and some people like that because then they don't have to think and they can just fly through it. But I think it would be nice to have at least a little bit of a challenge on those islands.
Well, unfortunately, because of that, they don't get very many points either. And so they're in teams, you'll have this really bad imbalance where, half the team will be like, I'm not even going to mess with it. And then so like maybe 5 or 6 people are spending their resources trying to get through those islands, and they end up with crap points by the whole end of it because they've used up all their resources to help the team get where they are. And it's like, that's really unfortunate, guys. We need to all get in here and like help together. So I think if they would bump up the ability to make points on those as you go up in league, I think that would help the teams out in general. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I don't know. But your channel, so what is it you are most known for over on your channel that you want to let everybody know about, that they can come over and check it out?
Most known for, I've got a lot of feedback that my videos are like very easy to understand, that I break things down in a very concise way to help it make more sense to them. So I guess that's something I do definitely focus on, that trying to make the videos as brief but beneficial as possible, because I know I don't want to sit through half an hour of a video to explain that something like, you want to build your base in a way that you're focusing on 5 towers, and you can explain that in a couple minutes and move on and talk about more stuff, rather than reading through the forums and trying to sift through all the different threads that talk about base building but don't actually get to the point, or you can't understand the point because it's going back and forth.
Yeah, so, too much info in one point at one time. It's overload. Yeah. Exactly.
So my focus is to make short informational videos that kind of break it down in an organized way. And my favorite videos to make are how to fly dragons. I get a lot of enjoyment from that because people will write off a dragon based on the spells, or because some person flew it but didn't do well because they didn't practice. And I like to surprise people with dragon videos.
That's nice. Yeah, I remember when we first talked about you doing your videos, you were telling me that you really wanted to help, the smaller players and the medium level players, and you really wanted to make it, precise and to the point. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly what my motto's always been. So that's why I was like, let's do it. Come on, get your videos up. Let's go. Got me excited. So, and do you still use that logo?
I do. Yes. Thank you. I have told several people that you helped me get my channel going, and if anybody who hasn't heard yet, the logo that I use was actually made by RPW.
I love doing those. Like, I could just do those like all day long. Like, anybody would need a logo? And like, ask me. I don't know. That's the fun stuff for me, is like creating things. So whenever I saw yours and I was like, you don't have a logo. Let me help you out.
Yeah, that was awesome. I really appreciate that.
And your name makes it really easy. Like, you really chose a really creative name. What was the idea behind the grind?
So I'm actually proud of that name. It's the first time I feel like I've actually came up with a good name. And I guess the idea behind it was I was a free-to-play player. I don't technically call myself a free-to-play player anymore, but at the time I found the game to be a grind, and it is a grind. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the grind of a video game if it is rewarding enough to make it worth it. And as a free-to-play player, especially if you want to achieve a mythic, and which that was my first video, it really is a grind. And so that's where the inspiration for my name came from.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I remember when I saw it, I was like, it makes me think of a cup of coffee and the game at the same time for some reason. So
yeah,
you won me over.
Lots of coffee and lots of grinding.
Exactly. So, well, we really appreciate you coming in to have a chit chat with us today. If you ever want to come back and speak with everyone, then you're more than welcome to. However, hey everyone, if you want to go check out the videos that The Grind has on his channel, be sure to go over and check it out. You can simply type in The Grind and search it up, or you can check out the link below this video to go check out his videos. So anyways, guys, we want to say thank you to The Grind, and thank you, or I could call you Shivenzo. Thank you for giving us this time and this platform to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Nice to talk to you a little bit more. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you again.
Bye.